Good afternoon. Welcome to VANIK-IAS. Discuss Indian polity. Just a second. Yes. So, what changes to Jammu and Kashmir constituencies mean? The commission set up for the centre to submit a final report regarding delimitation of Assembly of Parliamentary Constituency of Jammu and Kashmir. See, recently, that means within these 2-3 years, there is significant change in the administrative setup of Jammu and Kashmir, as especially after the abolishment of Article 370 and Article 35A. So also and among after this series of changes, there is one more changes, that is delimitation of assembly. What is this delimitation and why, that we will discuss in this article. Delimitation become necessary when Jammu and Kashmir Registration Act 2019 increase the number of seats in the assembly. Right? Quite it increase the number of seats in the assembly. Right? Erstwhile, Jammu and Kashmir has 111 seats, 46 in Kashmir, 36 in Jammu, and 4 in Ladakh, plus 24 seats reserved for Pakistan POK, Pakistan occupied Kashmir. When Ladakh was carved out of Union Territory, Jammu and Kashmir left with 10 seats, 107 seats, including 24 in POK. The Reorganization Act, the seats to increase the seats to 114, that is 90 in Jammu and Kashmir, right? Besides 24 in POK. So this is 19 Jammu and Kashmir, right? Earlier it was 46 in Kashmir and 37 in Jammu. Then 90. Now it has increased to 90 for both Jammu and Kashmir. In the erstwhile state, delimitation of parliamentary constituencies was governed by Constitution of India, and that assembly seats carried out by the then state government under Jammu and Kashmir Representatives of People Act 1957. That's a different act, that is Jammu and Kashmir Representation of People's Act 1957. Earlier it was done, but now it is governed by Constitution of India. The abrogation of Jammu and Kashmir Special Status 2019. The delimitation of both assembly and parliamentary seats is governed by the Constitution. Now, Indian Constitution, both assembly and parliamentary seats, the delimitation is governed according to Indian Constitution, not according to the Jammu and Kashmir Special Constitution. So basically, there will be a delimitation commission. Why? Because there is Jammu and Kashmir, a new act, that is Jammu and Kashmir Reorganization Act in 2019. It started, and this act has increased the number of seats in the assembly. Right. Okay. And as the number of seats increased, that is from 107 to 114, that's why we needed delimitation. And also this will be done according to Indian Constitution as of now, because in 2019 the abrogation of Article 370 happened. So it's like any other ordinary states of India. Next, the Delimitation Commission was set up in March 6, 2020, head by Supreme Court Justice Rajan Prakash Desai. It was Chief Election Commissioner. It was Chief Election Commissioner and Jammu and Kashmir Chief Electoral Officer as members, and Jammu and Kashmir 5 MP associated as associate members. Right. So this commission has headed by Ranjan Prakash Desai, right, and Chief Election Commissioner, Jammu and Kashmir Chief Electoral Officer, and 5 MPs. This is the constituent of the Delimitation Commission. The time given to the panel, initially 1 year, was extended several times as National Conference 3 MPs initially boycotted its proceedings. The first draft recommendation came in January 20, suggested an increase of 6 assembly seats of Jammu and Kashmir for Kashmir. On February 6, it submitted its second draft report. Okay. So there is delay. Why there is delay? Because the MPs are not participating in the process of delimitation, especially from the National Conference. why the exercise why this exercise has been controversial, why there is controversies. First thing is there is political opposition of every mode of government, central government, because the national conference and the PDP political party both are opposing the central government's move, because central government has removed the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. Constituent boundaries are being redrawn only in Jammu and Kashmir, when delimitation for the rest of the country has been frozen until 2026. This is one of the reason. This says that in rest of the countries, the delimitation is frozen up to 2026. Why you are starting in only in Jammu and Kashmir, right? Why there will be some special treatment in Jammu and Kashmir? Why such a series of reforms in Jammu and Kashmir? The last delimitation exercise Jammu and Kashmir was carried out in 1995. In 2002, the then Jammu and Kashmir government, by led by Farooq Abdullah, amended the Jammu and Kashmir Representation of People Act to free the delimitation exercise until 2026. Right. So there is an act passed by the Farooq Abdullah government, which said that there will not be any delimitation. That means changes in the constituencies or increase in the changes in the constituencies boundary up to 2026. This was challenged in the Jammu and Kashmir High Court and then Supreme Court, and both which upheld the freeze. Challenge in Jammu and Kashmir High Court and then Supreme Court. Okay. Again, political parties of Jammu and Kashmir have been pointing out the Delimitation Commission mandated by Reorganization Act, which is sub judice. Right. Sub judice means it is under the consideration of judiciary, whether it is to be done or not. That's why it is right, whether it to be done or not. That is why delimitation commission or state that is sub judice and they should not take any step in this regard. Whenever a particular subject is sub judice under judiciary, then there should not be any step taken in that direction, right? Okay. And yes, another thing is that when Farooq Abdullah's amended the Representation of People Act and freezed the delimitation up till 2026, Supreme Court and High Court both have supported it. Right? Still, delimitation is happening. That is how why it has become controversial. Also, while delimitation as a rule is carried out on the basis of census population, the Commission said it would take certain factors into consideration for Jammu and Kashmir, including size, remoteness, and closeness of border. Correct. See, there is on the basis of population, it will also take into account size, remoteness, and closeness of the border. This is some special consideration are taken in the case of Jammu and Kashmir. What changes have been made? What changes have been made? The assembly has been increased. The commission has increased seven assembly seats, six in Jammu and one in Kashmir. Now, so in Kashmir, in Jammu, number of seats has increased. It has also made massive changes in the structure of existing assembly seats. Right. So, in case of Jammu, the seats has increased. One of the reasons is that is also opposed, right? Because there is always a Kashmir domination in the Jammu and Kashmir. Usually, the opposition they talk about Kashmir because majorly the insurgency is seen in Kashmir, not in the Jammu region. Okay, Lok Sabha. The commission withdrawn the boundaries of Anantnag and Jammu seats. Jammu's Pirpanjal region, comprising of Poonch and Rajouri districts, formerly part of Jammu parliamentary seat, has now been added to Anantnag seat in the Kashmir. Also, Shia dominated region, Srinagar parliamentary constituency, has been transferred to Baramulla constituency, also in the valley. So there are certain changes inside the constituencies as well, so far as Lok Sabha is concerned. In Kashmiri Pandits, The commission has recommended a provision of at least 2 members from the community of Kashmiri migrants, Kashmiri Hindus, in the Legislative Assembly. It has also recommended that Centre should consider giving representation in the Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly to the displaced persons from POK, right? POK who migrated from Jammu after partition. So Centre should consider the representation, giving representation to Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly, Jammu and Kashmir Legislative Assembly, to the displaced person from Pak occupied Kashmir, right? Those who are displaced from Pak occupied Kashmir or migrated into Jammu after partition, they also given some seats in the legislative assembly. That was a demand, right? So these are the changes that has been made. First thing is that the number of seats in Jammu has increased. Second thing is that in case of Lok Sabha, there is Lok Sabha seats, there is also huge number of changes in case of area. And in case of Kashmiri Hindus, there is 2%, and there is provision of 2 members from Kashmiri Hindus, and there is a proposal to giving representation for those people who have migrated from the POK region to Jammu and Kashmir during the partition. Okay, just wait a second. Okay, delimitation panel. It is an act of process of fixing limits or boundaries of a territorial constituencies. Right? Of a territorial constituency means suppose there is an MP seat, it has a limit. There is an MLA seat, it has a limit. Changing this boundaries, that is called a delimitation, especially. Under Article 82, Parliament enacts a law for delimitation after every census. After every census, under Article 82, Parliament enacts a law of delimitation. But what happened? It has ceased up to 2026, right? Although there is census, also in 2011 there is census. Many people, eminent people, has already recommended that there should be increase in the number of MPs in the Parliament, because it was the same delimitation that was existing since many years, right? Although the population has almost increased many times, but there is the same number of parliamentary and member of Lok Sabha or member of Rajya Sabha are there, so that may also need to be changed. So these things under Article 82 is a deal with under Article 82. Under Article 170, states are divided into territorial constituencies. The Delimitation Act, territorial constituencies. State cannot make the Delimitation Act. Remember, state cannot make the Delimitation Act means how can a state see basic understanding that there are Lok Sabha seats, right? There are Lok Sabha seats, and they will be elected to Parliament. How the state government can make delimitation? And first delimitation was done in 1950 to 51 with the help of Election Commission, right? And first delimitation act 1952. 1981-1991 census resulted into no delimitation act. So this was set up by President of India in collaboration with Election Commission of India. Structure: there is a retired Supreme Court judge, Chief Election Commissioner, respective state commissioner. So these are the structure of delimitation commission. Supreme Court judge, very important for prelims. One is your Supreme Court judge, second is your Chief Election Commissioner, third is respective state election commissioner, and they're appointed by President of India. And there are some eminent members as well. For example, your local leaders, like those who are MPs, they will be also associated. Power and function: decide the boundaries of constituencies in such a manner to make population nearly equal for all constituencies. Yes, in such make population nearly equal for all constituencies. That means almost population will be same in each constituency. according to the boundaries to be set. Right. This need to be focused. Right. I would like to inform you that from Monday as well as I will discuss the objective questions as every day, but unfortunately today we couldn't make it. Since Monday we'll continue the objective discussions or MCQ discussions. So please be on time at 2:30. Okay. I have already discussed some science and technology questions based on current affairs. You may go to the playlist and you may see those science and technology MCQs what are in based on current affairs and GS. I have broadly discussed them. Hope that will work for you. Okay. So what is the power of functions? What is the power and functions of delimitation commission? Decide the boundaries of constituency in such a manner to make population nearly equal to constituents. Next, identify seats for scheduled caste and scheduled tribes wherever their population is large, because on the basis of that we will ensure reservation. Its orders have the power of law and cannot be questioned by court of law. Right? They cannot be questioned if whatever the delimitation orders, that is a court of law, and that cannot be, courts are barred to interfere in it. Then these orders come into force on a date to be specified by President of India. Right? Whenever the delimitation steps and directions will be implemented, that will be specified by President of India. Right? The copies of the orders are laid before the House of the People and Legislative Assembly of the concerned state, but no modification or permission by there in them. That means no modification can be recommended by the House of People, that may be Rajya Sabha, that may be Lok Sabha, or that is maybe your state legislative assembly. Nobody can make some modification that on the delimitation commission that are already taken the decision by the commission, right? Headed by a retired judge of Supreme Court and State Election Commissioner and the Election Commission of India. Delimitation is being carried out as per the population of 1971. Since that it has not changed. Right? We are expecting that in 2026 that will change because population has increased since a lot. Okay, now some important prelims facts, small facts. That is Shigella bacteria. What is this Shigella bacteria? Recently, Kerala Health Department identified Shigella bacteria as a cause for the blood poisoning incident. Blood poisoning incident, Shigella bacteria. Remember this, at least the most important information, which claimed a life of 16-year-old girl, led to 30 odd others being admitted to the hospital. What is this Shigella hospital? That is related Shigella bacteria that is especially associated with the blood poisoning incident. The presence of the bacteria was confirmed in the blood and feces of people undergoing treatment after they consumed chicken shawarma from an eatery in Cheruhatur, Kasaragod last week. They consumed chicken shawarma and that led to blood poisoning incident, food poisoning, that is food poisoning incident. This bacteria as the food poisoning incident. I am again and again saying blood, this food poisoning incident. What is this Shigella bacteria? It bacterium that belongs to Enterobacter family. Enterobacter family, a group of bacteria that reside in the intestine. Not all of cause disease to humans. It mainly affects the intestine and results in diarrhea. Sometimes bloody stomach pain and fever. It's Shigella bacteria that is associated with food poisoning, belongs to Enterobacter family, and that creates body pain, fever, and creates affects our intestine and results diarrhea. It is a food waterborne infection. The infection spreads easily and takes a small number of bacteria to make someone ill, according to US Center of Disease Control Prevention. It's a food waterborne infection can happen when someone consumes contaminated food, like the case of Kerala, unwashed fruits or vegetables. Right? These are waterborne infection, and that can transmit by unwashed fruits and vegetables. The disease is easily spread by direct and net contact with the excrement of patient. Remember, each disease, each bacterium, every year they ask at least one question, right? Regarding from this, which bacteria is in use. So Shigella bacteria, that is related to food poisoning, and this might be transmitted from by human, transmitted by especially contaminated food or fruits, unwashed fruits or vegetables. The bacteria is easily spread by direct and indirect contact with the excrement of the patient. Direct human transmission is also possible. Human transmission is also possible by Shigella bacteria. Someone can get infection if the person swim or take a bath in the contaminated water. Right? If somebody is taking swim or take a bath in the contaminated water, they can also get affected by the Shigella bacteria, and that will cause food poisoning. Okay. And how widespread is the infection? Shigella happens. Shigellosis. Shigellosis happens. It is very common infection. It is not very common infection. Usually seen infections like typhoid and cholera because contaminated foods. Perhaps 1 in 100 cases diarrhea in a hospital would be shigellosis. So one on 100 cases of diarrhea, that will be shigellosis. That is a bacterial disease. Shigella outbreaks appear to be exacerbated during the pregnancy and children under 5 years. In those who weaken immune system, Shigella bacteria can be affected. There are 4 types of Shigella bacteria that affects humans: Shigella sumei, Shigella flexneri, Shigella boydii, Shigella dysentery. The fourth causes most severe disease because of the toxin it produces. Shigella dysentery, that produces various toxin and that affect our human body. But is it common to people to die from infection? Infection does not generally kill unless the patient has weak immune system and or the pathogen is resistant to the antibiotics that are prescribed. Pathogen is resistant to the antibiotics. That means the bacteria which is inside your body, or if drug resistance is developed inside your body. Drug resistance developed means, what do you mean by drug resistance developed? Antimicrobial resistance. That is, if you are consuming various antibiotics, then you may develop antimicrobial resistance or AMR. In that case, if you are taking some medicine, that will not work. Right? In those cases also you may die because your immune system is not working against, or the medicines are not working against the particular bacteria. Right? It is a very treatable condition if the patient reaches the hospital on time and can effectively treat it with using an IV antibiotics. See, antibiotics will solve the problem. It will also create the problem of antimicrobial resistance. Usually send samples of patients with severe diarrhea for culture to see what pathogen is causing the symptoms. In order to decide the antibiotics where it like to the best, right? Usually send samples of patients with severe diarrhea for culture. Right? Sample means various body fluids or solids, whatever excreta, that will be given, and that will decide what antibiotic to be applied. Antibiotic, these are very, I mean, antibiotics are that important to control such diseases. Also, they create diseases like antimicrobial resistance. The problem through occurs when antibiotics do not work because bacteria are resistant to it. Yes. The problem with Shigella is that it produces lot of toxins that can affect other organs. Lot of toxins are affected. So there are also side effects of the Shigella virus. If the bacteria continues to proliferate in the body even after giving antibiotics, it will continue to produce toxins, and which can affect kidney, cause seizures, lead to multi-organ failure, shock, even turn fatal. This doesn't happen in most cases, but it has the potential to kill a person by releasing various toxins, and that may lead to your multi-organ failure. The mortality in case of infection is less than 1%. What are the precautions you can take? The measures to prevent Shigella infection are the same as at any other food and waterborne infection. Wash hands thoroughly before and after a meal. Right? You should wash your hands thoroughly before and after a meal. Right? That means sanitation is important to control the Shigella bacteria. Then wash hands properly. Ensure water that you drink clean and fruits or vegetables are fresh. Products such as milk, chicken, fish can get infected easily, must be kept at proper temperature, they must be properly cooked. So you should eat fresh fruit, you should eat fresh food, then you will not get affected by the Shigella bacteria, or you will not suffer from food infection, because a person can also die because of food infection in case of worst cases where toxins will be released and that will lead to multi-organ failure. Then Naga fish stock. What is this Naga fish stock? See, in northeast many areas there is insurgencies. They are demanding of Greater Nagaland. There are various number of tribals. We have given them under 6th schedule. We have given them autonomic district councils. Still, as their culture is different, there is diverse culture. Their tribal population. Many times there is insurgency. Why? For demanding of a new state, or what we call as secessionist challenge. So Nagas also there is like I mean insurgency organization, that is National Socialist Council of Nagaland, which was involved in 40% of 44% insurgency related incidents in Nagaland since 2020. Right. So Ministry of Home Affairs uh, of according to recently released annual report, Ministry of Home Affairs. So Ministry of Home Affairs says that 44% of insurgencies in the insurgencies in Nagaland are because of the National Council of Socialist of Council of Nagaland, that is NSCN-IM. The NSCN-IM continues to demand Greater Nagaland or Nagaland, Greater Nagaland, that is secessionist challenge, right? Greater Nagaland, a new state, and or Nagalim. It wants to extend Nagaland's border by including Naga-dominated areas in the neighborhood Assam, Manipur, and Arunachal Pradesh. If that is Greater Nagaland, and that will create huge administrative expenses, law and order issues, right? Non-control law and order situation. It has been demand of NSCN-IM. The government of India got NSCN-IM to sign ceasefire agreement. Earlier they are indulged in terrorism, but now they are engaged in ceasefire agreement to begin the holding talks with the aiming signing Naga peace accord. There have been over 100 rounds of talks after the ceasefire between the center and the insurgent groups, but no solution. Right, there is our Ravi. RN Ravi was also this. He has created this Naga peace accord. Is intelligence officer, IPS officer. He was appointed for to sign a peace deal for peace deal. Naga peace accord. Now he is the governor in that area. Union government has in 2015 signed framework agreement with NSC and IM to find solution for Naga political issue. The negotiations are yet to be concluded. So the negotiation between the NSC and IM and government of India, although there are 100 times of talks that was not finalized, and the demand of Nagaland it still exists now, but government is not interested to create any more division in the state. It will be very small. It will, because already the northeastern states are very small. There is lack of administrative capacity, and there is already law and order problem. So government do not want to create any such law and order problem, because that is not going to solve the problem. There will be series of conflicts between the people if there is any changes in the territory of those countries. Why did Naga insurgency begin? The term Naga was created by the British for administrative convenience to refer a group of tribes with similar origins but distinct culture, dialects, and customs. So it was created by British. And those people, those groups who have similar origins, distinct culture, dialects, they are called as Nagas. Naga tribes were accumulated in Nagaland, Arunachal Pradesh, Manipur, and Myanmar. So in these three states, there are Naga people. Residing in the Naga Hills of Assam during the advent of British annexation of Assam 1820, the Nagas didn't consider themselves as a part of British India. Nagas didn't consider themselves as a part of British India, right? Which, advent of British, so they were away from Britishers. They didn't consider themselves as part of British India. The British adopted a way of governance over Nagas that involved keeping the place in traditional ways of life, customs, laws, while putting British administration at the top. So Britishers also they tried to way of governance, to adopt a good governance where British didn't interfere in traditional ways. Remember, always British was keeping away to interfere in Indian traditions because they know that that will create a huge law and order issue. That's why they didn't interfere so much regarding social entities like religion. Right. At a time when the withdrawal of British, insecurity grew among the Nagas tribes about the future of their cultural autonomy after India's independence. Right? British didn't interfere, so they expected that maybe India will interfere and take our rights. For example, there was also a protest in Naga. Under Article 14, we have both equal men and equal men and women both are equal. So in Panchayat Raj institutions, 33% reservation will be also given to the women of Naga. But problem what happened? On the constitution, it was also given Naga to special rights that Nagas will be administered under according to their Nagas will be administered according to their cultural rights. But at the same time, the same constitution mentions that state cannot make any discrimination between the men and women. So how can state cannot make reservation in Panchayat Raj institutions of Nagas? But Nagas has a customary rule that the women of Naga cannot rule. They cannot be in ruling position. So now the conflict arised. That is between the Naga and the government. You see, before 2 and 3 years, there is around in 2016 or 17, there is a huge protest in Naga because government wanted to employ one of the not the elected official, Naga official as Naga women official. Right. In the statewide protest in the Nagas because that violated their cultural rights. And their cultural rights are guaranteed under the Constitution of India. Amid uncertainties over post-independent future for the Nagas, extraction of NNC led by Naga leader A. Piju declared that independence of Naga on August 14, 1947, a day before India's declaration. Right. Naga leader A.J. Piju, it has declared independence of Naga in August 14, 1947. That is different from the Indian constitution. The underground insurgency began in 1950s when Mr. Piju founded Naga Federal Government and its armed wing, Naga Federal Government (NFA). The central government went send the armed forces to Naga areas to cover the insurgency imposed by Continuous Armed Forces Special Power Act (IEPSPA), which are still in a part of Nagaland. Right? Even today, there is APSPA, Armed Forces Special Power Act. That means armed forces have special power in those areas. They can kill a person if they doubt. Right? So Mr. Fiji has started it, and government has to make this APSA to counter the insurgency in the northeast, which was primarily Mr. that was funded by um, primary that was created by the Mr. Fijo of this Mr. Fijo of the section of Nagas, right? Naga leader who was demanding, uh, who was this Naga leader, Mr. Fijo, who demanded a new federal government, that is Naga federal government, and that was controlled by the armed forces by Armed Forces Special Power Act that still present in the government and in the Nagaland. Right? In Armed Forces Special Power Act, you can kill any person if you doubt. Right? Remember, only northeast this APSPA and Jammu and Kashmir. These two areas where there are insurgencies. APSPA is limited to only these states. In other states, it is not present. The Nagas led by Mr. Fijo demanding the independent state outside of India. Boycott 1952 and 1957 general election and armed clashes grew. Right? There is the establishment of parallel government. When he says that in Northeast there is a parallel government, that means these terrorist organizations they are also collecting taxes, they are also ruling, right? They have support from the masses as well. So Nagas is led by Minister Fijo, they are demanding independent state outside India. Boycott the elections. Unlike other groups of Northeast, they are accepting some of autonomy under the constitution. Naga rejected in this favor of sovereignty. Right? In the favor of sovereignty, that means what the Nagas will do, that will not be decided by the person sitting in Delhi, that will be interference. Some leaders of Naga National Council in NNC, uh, NNC formed their own group to hold discussions with the government, leading to formation of state of Nagaland in 1963. This is, however, not satisfactory. Many NNC and NFC who, following years negotiation with the government, eventually signed the Shillong Accord 1975, agreeing to surrender him and accept the constitution. So in 1975, they are surrendered and accepted the constitution in 1975. Then when this NSCN IM, which has created such a disturbance, has created the signing of Shillong Accord. The signing of Shillong Accord, which was not agreeable with many top leaders in NNC, those operating from Myanmar, as the agreement didn't address the issue of Naga sovereignty and coerce them to accept the constitution. Right? The basic demand of Naga was Naga sovereignty. That means all the decisions regarding Nagas will be taken by the Nagas, not by any foreign entity. But some of them they accepted Indian constitution as their constitution, and that created a problem. The NNC leaders Thui Thuingaling Muviaha and Tangkul Naga, tribe of Manipur Utkal district. Ishak Tishish Shu of Sema tribe, SS Khaplang from Mewar Hemis tribe, formed National Socialist Council of Nagaland NSCN to continue their armed movement. The motto of NSCN was to create People's Republic of Nagaland free from Indian rule. Right? Motion. This motto of NSCN. What was the motto of NSCN? To create People's Republic of Nagaland free of Indian rule. So separatist movement are going on. Okay. Secessionist challenge are going on. Especially you can get secessionist challenge. 1990, after years of infighting and violent clashes among the tribal lines over the main cause of the movement, the NSCN split into two factions. One led by Mr. Muhiaha Su, called as NSCM IM, Ishak Muhiaha, and the other led by Mr. Khaplang group, called as NSCN K. So it has divided. That is one into NSCM IM, Ishak Muhiaha, and NSCN K. Right, Mr. Khaplang. NSCIM demand continuous demand for Greater Nagaland and Nagaland. It was extended to Nagaland borders, including Naga-nominated areas and neighboring state of Assam, Manipur, and Arunachal Pradesh. But NSCM IM has now grown, become most successful in powerful insurgent group. Right? It is the most powerful insurgent group. It is continuously still it is demanding Nagalim or Greater Nagaland, also playing a role for the creation of similar groups or other states. Armed persons intensified along with illegal activities like extortion, smuggling, weapons, and so on. Because there is a hilly terrain, there is Myanmar, there is Bangladesh border, there is Myanmar border, so that area has become a hub of terrorism or armed conflict. When do the peace talks stands now? In 1997, the government of India has got NSC and IM to create ceasefire agreement to begin the holding talks with the aim of signing Naga Peace Accord. After the ceasefire, there have been over 100 rounds of talks spanning 24 years between center and the insurgent, while resolution is still awaited. There is no resolution. There is no resolution of Naga Peace Accord. Right? It is weighted. That means there is no solution between the Naga people who have been in the insurgency or the government. Talks are going on. Government has holding peace parley simultaneously with NSCIM and Naga Political Council, compromising at least 7 of its extremist groups, including NSCN-K, comprising of its 7 extremist groups. That means government is holding talks with all the 7 extremist groups of NSCN-IM and also in NSCM Kapalang group to ensure peace and tranquility in the northeast. In 2015, they signed a framework agreement with NSCM-IM. The first step towards actual peace and accord. The joint intelligence of R.N. Ravi, Chief R.N. Ravi, I have already said he is now the governor, appointed interlocutor. He was interlocutor for Naga peace talks and signed agreement on behalf of the center. He was later appointed Nagaland's governor for the in 2019 for the negotiations. The negotiations hit impasse in 2020 with the NSCM I am demanding the removal of Mr. Ravi as interlocutor, accusing him high-handedness and tweaking the agreement to mislead our Naga groups. Right? So there is disputed. Why they are disputed? Because there is allegation that there is high-handedness of Mr. Ravi, who has been handling this northeastern insurgency since many years. He worked as interlocutor. He was an intelligence officer. He also is working as the governor because in case of 6 scheduled areas, the final decision can only be taken by the governor. He is the most powerful person for 6 scheduled area or autonomous district councils. The NSCN IM continued to demand separate flag and constitution for the Nagas in the creation of Nagalim. It created agreed upon the agreement, which claimed that in the agreement of the agreement, Mr. Ravi, however, denied that claim. Right? Mr. Ravi said that there will be no flag or constitution separated for Nagaland. In 2019, April 19, 2020, Mr. Misra visited NSCN camp in Dimapur and hold closed door talks. Issues on the Naga flag constitution remain to be ironed out. Issue of Naga flag and constitution remain to be ironed out. So that means still even today, that means Indian constitutional government will not accept the Naga flag or Naga constitution. Right. So like this video and share this video and subscribe to VANIK-IAS Academy. Thank you. Good afternoon, Kuntala Behra. Good afternoon.